Hey everybody, this is a study guide for chapter 25, the Industrial Revolution. Some things you need to know. In Europe, one of the big results of the increase in the size of cities, the fewer people working on farms, and the existence of lots of air and water pollution, the big result is the Industrial Revolution. That was, the cause of all three of those changes. Another major result of the Industrial Revolution is there's going to be an increase in the size and influence of the middle class. The middle class is going to increase dramatically, and that's going to be skilled workers. If you're taking a look at a bunch of quotes from history, and you see a quote that's talking about the struggle between the haves and the have-nots, workers of the world unite and overthrow the rich, that would be Karl Marx and communism. He wanted the proletariat to have a revolution. Also, laissez-faire theory. That's basically, no government intervention in business. That was promoted by Adam Smith. It's more capitalistic. Self-interest is going to drive people to action. Government should allow people to pursue their own goals. The government should not regulate business. That would be laissez-faire capitalism. Karl Marx, he wrote the Communist Manifesto. He was a founding father of communism along with Engels, and he believed that the proletariat or the workers should have a revolution against the rich and seize all the factors of production. And this was during the Industrial Revolution. Many other things about the Industrial Revolution. It started mainly in England because England had a lot of natural ports and England had a supply of coal. And society is going to change, and it's going to include a working class of people early on, which are eventually going to become a middle class. And they're going to demand a say in government. So, laissez-faire, capitalism, working for profit, the law of supply and demand. They all want no government intervention in business. That is laissez-faire capitalism. Now, Karl Marx, he wrote the Communist Manifesto. He also worked closely with Friedrich Engels, another founding father of communism. He thought that workers could change the working conditions by revolutionary means. He wanted the workers to overthrow the rich and change the conditions. An important social aspect of the early part of the Industrial Revolution in England is urbanization. People moved to the cities. Why? Because there's a lot of jobs in factories. So many people moved to the urban areas in England and other countries that will eventually industrialize. Fundamental characteristics of a free market. Think of the word free. Prices are determined by the laws of supply and demand. That is a free market. If you have a product that's good, people will demand it. Socialist writers in the 19th century were concerned with solving the problems that resulted from the Industrial Revolution. Socialist writers inspired communist writers like Karl Marx to introduce the idea of communism and that workers should rebel. Next thing, textile machines in England in the Industrial Revolution caused a lot of people to become unemployed because they were replaced by machines. And the cost of machine-made textiles would fall rapidly, leading to a greater demand in textiles because machines could make so much more. And textiles is a fancy way to say like clothing, fabrics. The fundamental idea of laissez-faire capitalism. Laissez-faire capitalism. Businesses should gain and lose according to their own efforts. Basically, there shouldn't be government intervention. Let businesses just thrive or fail on their own. Socialism, communism in Western Europe, government will own and control all the businesses and industries. That is the communist model, where there's no private property and government will control. That's socialism and communism. What has been a major change resulting from the industrialization of Europe? Well, increased social mobility. A lot of people were able to move up to the middle class, and a few entrepreneurs were able to move up and gain great wealth. Why did the Industrial Revolution start in Britain? They had a supply of workers, they had a lot of natural resources, they had coal, and they had many ports, which would allow them to import and export products. Long-term effect of industrialization upon women in Western societies, one of the long-term effects on women is there's going to be an increase of employment opportunities for women. And more women are going to be going to work. Once again, laissez-faire, the law of supply and demand will determine prices, will determine business, and that's laissez-faire. You need to know that. Mercantilism is a belief that colonies exist only for the good of the mother country, and that is mercantilism. That just basically means the mother country gets all the profit from the colonies. Lastly, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the Communist Manifesto, the founding fathers of communism, they wanted the workers to unite, they wanted the workers to rebel, and they want the workers to overthrow the rich, and they want the workers to control all the means of production and the factories. Thank you very much. Watch this as many times as you need. Good luck on the test.